Hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peak's Peak. As you know, we finished up our shop build several months ago, really. Long enough ago that we have pretty well destroyed the place since then. Our white floors are not white anymore. We've done several projects in here. In fact, we just finished one up. My son's Subaru WRX got it back on the road. So we have tools everywhere. The inside is a mess, but we never completely finished the project. So today, we're gonna do that. We have had well over 100 ton of gravel brought into this farm to get our driveways done and to build up this site where the garage is. Probably pushing closer to 200 tons of gravel at this point. But this 20 ton right here should finish out our driveway. We'll finish covering up this creek rock. We've got all this brown rock here. If you'll remember, when I was doing my fill work, I used the creek rock because basically I could get it for just a haul bill. And so it was a lot of good fill for a low price. But now I want to finish it off and make it all look nice and uniform. So we've got 57s here, which is what I've been using for the rest of my driveway that's established. So we're going to finish this all off, cover up all the ugly brown rock, make it all look nice and neat, and finish our run up into the garage so that it's leveled out and looks nice. And just a little word on our shop here, man, we are getting so much good out of this. We've been able to do a lot of work on our own vehicles and make it a whole lot easier. And we've been able to help out a few friends with some little projects that they've had going on. So that's great. Just this morning, I come out here and back the tractor out, and the FedEx driver was pulling in the driveway, and he didn't have a package to deliver. He had a low tire, and so he wanted me to take care of his tire. He remembered us and our shop, and we're always ordering car parts. So he knew where he could go to get some air in his tire, and I thought that was pretty cool too. But anyway, we have got the Kubota all ready to go here. Now, when you're spreading gravel and using a loader, whether you're using the BX23S or a 2380, 2680, whatever you're using, you need some rear ballast when you're going to be hauling any kind of weight in the bucket of your tractor. I have fluid in the tires, but that's still not enough to really move a full bucket of gravel. So I went ahead and put the box blade on. I don't know that I'll use the box blade for anything in this process other than maybe kind of a final smooth out when I'm finished. But normally I use the bucket and I spread the gravel, just pouring it out as I go, and that works out pretty well and I get a good finish. But I may try the box blade and see how that works just because I've never really done that. So let's go ahead and get to work and see what we can do. So a couple of little tips as I'm spreading gravel with my loader. The first thing is when you've got a big pile of gravel like this, it's pretty easy to get a full scoop of gravel into your loader, but it takes a little bit of practice. And the way that I approach it is I have my bucket angled down just a little as I make my first stab into the pile. And as I'm going forward, I start raising it up. And when you tilt it, it will cause the gravel to fall into the bucket. And then what happens is as you raise it up and you drive into the bucket and you're tilting it back, it will fill your bucket to where you can end up with a heaping load in your loader. Now I'll tell you, that's a lot of weight, and you kind of need to watch the stress. If you don't have a ballast on the back, then you're putting a ton of stress on your front axle when you lift a completely full bucket of mud or gravel or any of that. So make sure that you have some weight on the back of your tractor to offset that, kind of take a little bit of the stress off of your front axle. We've all seen skilled dump truck loaders who can spread gravel across the driveway and just make it lay down perfect, and it doesn't need anything when it's done. And I definitely would not be one of those guys. But you can, with a loader bucket, feather out the feed of your gravel as you back up and get a pretty nice finish to where you don't have to do a whole lot of work smoothing it out when you're done. And how I do that is I raise my bucket up just high enough to where I can see the line where I want my gravel to start. And you can do a little test pour by just tilting your bucket down just a hair and letting some gravel fall, and that'll tell you the line where it's going to start spreading. So if you need to move forward or backward to get the start of your pour. And then you want to gradually back up, and the speed of your reverse will depend on the speed of your pour. So as you gradually tilt your bucket and you get the gravel to start pouring, you want to look at it and make sure it's not starting to pile in one spot. And you speed up or slow down your speed moving backwards based on how quickly the gravel's coming out of your bucket. And with a little bit of practice, you'll get those two working in combination to where you can get a pretty decent spread emptying your loader bucket. It works out really good. So another tip for filling your bucket, when you dig in and you've run out of traction, but your bucket's only half full, then what I usually do, I'll curl my bucket back all the way and then I'll raise it up about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way or so. And then I drop it really quick and I let that gravel settle back to the back of the bucket. That way you can back up and get another clean push without having to push all that weight of the gravel back into the bucket. And that allows you to fill the bucket up further when your traction's a little bit loose. kind of my last little tip here as we kind of finish up, we've got all our gravel spread, is save you a little bit of gravel so that you can fill your bucket about half full or so, level it out perfectly level, drop her on float and back drag, and you can get her smoothed out pretty good that way. I fooled with the box blade just a little bit, but it seemed like it was going to dig down a little deeper than I wanted to, and I didn't want to fool with learning and doing the adjustments on the 3-point top link in order to get that just right. I didn't want to dig down into my creek gravel and bring it to the top, so I decided my best thing is to go with what I already know how to do, and that is using the float feature on the loader and back dragging it to smooth it out this time. And I'll spend a little more time learning my box blade later. Done. We got our 20-ton of gravel spread with the Kubota BX, and couldn't be happier with it. Everything looks really good, smoothed out really good. We've got a fantastic gravel base here, and now the approach into our garage is just right and on grade so that we can pull right in there without having the big bump to get over. So real excited about it. Guys, that's just about going to do it for today's gravel spreading tips. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good day.